All right, everyone. Hello. My name is Charlie Berger, and welcome to this Oracle, this Analytics and Data Oracle User Community TechCast. I'll be your host today, and immediately following my brief introduction, we're going to have a presentation by Ta from Fourth Corporation, who's going to show you how he uses Oracle machine learning, some other technologies from Oracle to solve some problems. I want to go through a few housekeeping things just before we dive into that. First of all, my name is Charlie Berger. My relationship to this is I'm an Oracle product manager, actually one of the co-founders of this BIWA, or Analytics and Data Oracle User Community. That with the help of many hardworking volunteers, we run these Analytics and Data Oracle User Community activities, the TechCast Days, the summits when we're able to physically get together. So we've also recently changed our URL. So it's real easy now. Just go to www.andouc.org, Analytics and Data OUC, Oracle User Community.org. That's a whole new change for us. So we're constantly trying to improve and grow and do new things. So do that. Now I am going to tell you that the speaker's contact information is on his presentation. The slides will be made available shortly after the presentation. When I say shortly, remember it's volunteers, so shortly could be 24, 48, 72 hours later, as soon as we can get to it. Okay, also the recordings will be posted on the website, and we also dual post them over on YouTube. So if you go to the andouc.org and click on YouTube, you'll see all of the recordings from Ta and others. So let's see, the TechCast should take about 30 minutes plus or minus. We'll include time at the end for Q&A. You can chat them in the chat window. Ta will be happy to answer them along the way. And with that, I think, also, I'm supposed to encourage all of you to do what Ta is doing. Come on stage and share your talents, share what technologies and tips and tricks and such you've learned. We all know something, right? And what this community is all about is sharing knowledge, sharing tips and tricks, saving time, doing things smarter, and just kind of learning from each other. So that's what it's all about. And with that, I'm going to introduce our speaker. We have Ta, who's going to be presenting on how data warehousing and data mining make FinTech marketing more effective. I've known Ta for a few years now, and I think he always is just doing amazing work, and I love hearing him give updates on the cool and crazy things he's doing. He's got some new stuff he's going to talk about also. And so I'll let him introduce himself, and with that brief introduction, take it away, Ta.
Hi, well, good morning from Thailand. Let me set my stopwatch running just now so that I make the most out of the 30 minutes time I've got. So I'm here to speak about my company, Fourth and Fourth Corporation, which is our sister company, and the work I've been doing for the past 4 years. Okay, so without further ado, I'm just gonna do a quick introduction about myself and about my company. So for the past 4 years, I've been working with analytics. Our machines, they send out data through 4G, and then we were able to compile those data in the Oracle database and then display it using OAC. And 2 years ago, we went into machine learning to further utilize our data. And one of the first success that I found at ForSmart Corporation is to set up a control room, something that looks a bit like you can imagine yourself in the factory where you can monitor everything in the factory within the room. So not just only CCTV, but maybe you can monitor flow rates and so on with all the sensors around. I tried to set up the same thing. I went into it in a few slides ago. And then we were using machine learning tools to do market segmentation for our marketing team. We have millions of customers, and it's been a heavy job for the marketing team, which are like 10 people, to crack down on the changing trends. We have changing trends, we have many business partners, and we also have digital disruptions to stay ahead of. Okay, and then for the past few years, I've been working on with 50 dashboards from OAC, and I've been automating stuff, of course. It used to be that we needed people to make our reports. Now it's done by coding and on cloud. And I'll talk a bit more about my current project that I'm investing a lot of my time in, if we have time. So now I'm working to introduce the smart metering solutions to improve Bangkok's electricity infrastructure. So maybe just a teaser is that Bangkok is a very old city. It's the capital city of Thailand, around 10 million people. Used to have a lot more tourists, but now not so much. But still, many people live in it. And then we have been running on analog meters. And so the government needed to hire someone to go and take a look at the meter from at the end of the month and then send the bills to all the homes. So it's something we believe we can improve on. Okay. For Smart Corporation, established 12 years ago, still surviving today amid all the recession all around. So the business has stood the test of time and is being tested quite heavily at the moment. We are seriously going into a recession without the tourists coming. But our business model seems to be okay because we're doing with something very, very fundamental, which is cash flow, to sum it up. And we have around 300 employees, head office in Bangkok, Thailand. You can see that we have vending machines. It's actually in the middle one that's being the popular one at the moment, more than 120,000. And what it does initially was that it allows people to top up their mobile phones using cash. So we are a bit like the cash version of PayPal. People go into our machines and then they put in cash and then they get digital products out. The first one was the topping up service. And then we went on to do bank transfer. We went on to do topping up games. We went on into paying utility bills as well. I'll touch on more when I have an opportunity. And this one I mentioned. And then we expanded into snacks, drinks, and coffee to avoid digital disruption because I think it's a worldwide trend that people are using smartphones and they're topping up using their smartphones, using apps basically. So we were very afraid a couple of years ago that this thing would disrupt us, and then so we tried really hard to come up with new things. Right now, there is not such thing of the scale of the topping up service machine, which now expanded into banking service. So now people can transfer money through us. We have banks as our partners. So banks play many forms to us. Well, they give loans to us, of course, and they are our partners. They're now our competitors because now they have the banking apps and they allow people to top up through their apps as well. But still, we managed to stay in a good relationship with them. And we are being good partners to them, especially in COVID time, when human-to-human intervention is being something not favorable and banks are closing branches. And now we stand out to be one of their best partners because we are in many corners of the street. Actually, we try to be at every corner to provide convenience. Okay, without too much introduction, I'll dive into the service and then the departments that we have and how my work with data actually enhance the work of the people in my company. So to run a vending machine business throughout Thailand, 77 provinces, around 70 million people, we needed our agents. We cannot do it alone. We are based in Bangkok. We only have 300 people. So instead, we give our machines to our agents to manage. We own the machine. We give them out. And we are in a profit sharing scheme with our agents, like this gentleman on the left of the picture, giving some award to the lucky draw winner. Okay, so we also try to be the first point of contact. We have data from our machines, transaction data, machine status data, if the machine goes wrong, if it's online, offline. And we also install a few sensors to avoid things like robbery, and then avoid, the main thing is robbery. And the other thing that comes up with my mind is if there is too much cash in it, it's not favorable. Again, apart from robbery, we also need the cash in the machine back to us so that we can, feed the cash back to the telco company or to the bank. So basically, we need the cash flow going. And then our machine our agents solve many problems. Some are unimaginable to maybe people in America, like flooding, fire, like to robbery. Our machines, they actually do get robbed. They are placed in very remote parts of Thailand. Some are in fishing villages, some are in the some are in remote villages. So it's important that we have security as well. Okay, and then most importantly, we want to keep the system at steady state. We want to keep it disturbance free. So up and running 24/7, that's our strong point against, having someone else, having a person to top up your mobile phone. This is the first selling point for us. We are there 24/7. We provide robust service. And this is the dashboard that I came up quite a few years ago now. And it's showing all the 77 provinces in blocks. And then these blocks, they are highlighted, they are color-coded. Provinces with a lot of machines down are highlighted in red. When 5 to 10% are down, we give them like an orange, and then less than 5, we give them a green. So like a traffic light system. So the team pictured in the bottom right can focus on the most problematic provinces. So we have the number of machines on the top left of the dashboard, percentage online, and then percentage offline. And then if in case many of you have not been to the eastern part of the world, so there is a map of Thailand on that dashboard as well. And then we have a point on every province, and then again, they are color coded. Okay. And then I'm going to talk about classification model on how the Oracle Machine Learning tool has helped me perform a better job. So Line Corporation is the most popular messaging app in Thailand. Millions of people have their apps on. They do many services now. But what they partnered with us was to sell emoticons. And then we have been partners from them from the very start. I'm very happy to say that they have grown into a very big company, and now they managed to get listed in New York. So this is quite a milestone for this Japanese company, and they've been like a great partner to us. And so what we were working with them is we were providing them access to our customers, so they have their icons on our machine, 120,000 or slightly less than that. And then they have access to millions of customers, and that's where they think they can crack into the market that they have not done before. So our customers are quite unique. They are the customers who use cash. Many of them have bank accounts, but not credit card and debit card. So this is some market that Line have a lot on their apps, but never purchase anything with Line. So with this, Line partnered with us to tackle them. And what we did with them was that instead of providing them with phone numbers to call, we actually give them targeted lists. So it used to be that we advertise for them in a mass market type of way. And then we found that the majority of our customers, even though they're the perfect customers for Line, they're not interested. They're not happy in spending $1 or $2 on emoticons when they can get it, when they can get many for free. And so okay, so with the classification model, we are able to increase the conversion rates. And so I'm going to show in the next few slides how we do it. And okay. All right. So enough about Line. We were able to increase the conversion, and this is what the results look like. We were able to identify that the customers for Line top up less than 55 bahts, which is around $2. They are very loyal customer to us, and they use more than 6.5 times per month. And so that's more than 7. And so we had a slightly low support. And then the confidence for this one is around 52%, which is not too high. But there are other groups that have higher confidence. And so by using these rules, we were able to query customers who have these criteria. And so they are more likely to buy Line stickers, so to say. And so by identifying this, we were able to increase conversion by around 3 times. And we also avoid offending our customers. And so this is a a buy-in from Line. So Line wants us to do more. So the second time we do it, we try to do better. The first time we advertised using SMS. The second time we tried advertise with Facebook audience. So now we put in ads on the Facebook apps. And so we found that the conversion rate is actually better. So people prefer to open the ads on Facebook and they actually follow what the ad says rather than us sending them cold messages on SMS. Okay, I'm going to speed up a bit. And so the other thing that we got into recently is to become a banking agent, something that we believe that as a fintech company, this is the next step for us. And we have managed to partner with more and more banks. Now we partner with 6. We started with 1. And so we are proving ourselves to be robust banking agent and to be a reliable partner to the banks. And having a huge database of people who use cash only makes us favorable to the banks. For this one, I was trying to introduce a new bank to the customers. So of course, having a new bank on our system is good. The product is good by itself, but still the growth rate isn't fast enough for our banking partners. And so what we're trying to do here is trying to send SMS messages saying that we have a new bank in service, and please try to use it if that's beneficial for the customers. And so we have identified here 53,000 customers. I have to raise one point to you that usually our customers top up with us around $2 or $3. Now, banking agents, they form a smaller fraction of our total market share. So we may have something like tens of millions of our customers, but very few of them actually use the banking service because, of course, these are different segments of the market. There are people who have savings. Many of our customers don't have savings at all. They earn money in the morning and usually spend it all by the end of the evening. Okay, so this is a tricky part of our customer base to tackle. And with the classification model, we found that it's first of all, much more robust than having marketing team digging into the database, trying to identify who the customer is. Instead, we have a database. We have transactions of who use the service, and with the machine learning tool, we were able to identify their characteristics. So how many times they top up, where they top up, are they usually in urban areas or not, or which province they usually use the banking service from. And with the classification model, yes?
Todd, I know you're answering it right now, but there's a question on the thing that says, how are potential customers identified through machine learning or predefined rules? I know you're covering that right now, but maybe you just want to answer that question. I mean, you're covering it, right? But I just want to know there's a question that's time right now asking that.
Yes. So initially, it's our marketing team trying to sort of formulate their own equations of what our customers look like, their age groups, their income, based on research. So calling, basically, we interview. But we found that, we have around more than 10 million customers, but the maximum number of interviews that we can do with our current resource is around 4,000. So 4,000 is not very representative when it comes to millions of customers. And then we also found that the results are a bit off to what we think. And so we turn into machine learning instead, where we can query data of 10 million customers like that with the cloud. The cloud CPU is fast enough and the database is huge enough. So we have something more like 8 years worth of database. I have to say that the relevant ones are in the recent years because, as the company has grown and then as we, stood the test of time, of course, they're more competitors. Our landscape has completely changed once the bank started to go into the topping up business with the app. And then, so that our customers who used to be with us 8 years ago, maybe, we hope they are still with us, but many of them has changed. And so the most relevant customers are the ones that use our service recently. And here I have shown that I have a classification model done for the for the line sticker customers. So we were using data in April 2019, and then we were using the sampling tool to extract the relevant portion of the whole database. And then we use the filter columns to identify which attributes are important, which one have good correlation. And then we use the classification model, of course. I'm not going to go into the full detail because the limitation of time, but here I hope I can answer the question that we identify customers through the use of algorithms. In the end, the marketing team has their own presentation as well, and then I have my own presentation as well. So we both support the business, but I introduce it with more data-driven manner. Okay, and then here I was able to present the marketing team. Yes?
I got another good question. I figured just to interrupt you online because I think it's kind of cool.
Sure.
It's the same question I asked you before. If the customers are using cash at the vending machine, how does the customer and their details are identified for machine learning? I mean, if they're a cash thing, how do you know anything? What do you know about them? You don't know that much. What's up?
Yeah, to be fair, we would like to know more about our customers. So from here, we have the limitation, like you have pointed out. Cash, we don't know the person who puts in, how old he or she is. And then we don't know, what else do we know if it's a credit card? We don't know the name, surname. We don't know the age. We asked our customer very little things because we found that if we ask too many things, our customer will just walk away. That's the nature of our business. We are fast, convenient. If we ask too much, then they turn into something easier. So we provide convenience. So let me tell you something that we know about our customers. We know how much they top up. We know their mobile phones, of course, because it's compulsory that they put that in their mobile phone. Otherwise, unless they want to top up for someone else, but for most people, they put in their own mobile phones. Some of our mobile phone number is pretty much our customer ID. And with that, we can link them into our vending machine. So we have our vending machine that provide the weighting scale. And so our customers prefer to let us store their data so that the next time they can come to the same machine, they know their weight last time and they keep track of it. So that one we offer as a service, and then we ask for permission to keep the weight. Of course, with the mobile phone number, that's our customer ID. And then we know the weight of 15% of our customers. Some provided the age as well because we needed the age to calculate the BMI index. It's like the body mass ratio. And so we know these things. And what we know more is we know more where our machines are put at. Are they in urban areas? We know their GPS locations. We know if they're in university. We know if they're in front of convenience stores, and so on and so forth. So we know a few things about our machines, but still our attributes were limited into tens. So we hope that we can get more, like YouTube, Facebook, they got maybe like hundreds of thousands, but we have enough to work with for now. And so for this machine learning, I used about 15, and then I think around 7 are highly relevant. And so this is enough. So things like how much they top up per month, how many transactions they made, do they top up in large amounts, or how many services do they use? Are they like a banking customer, or are they like a vending machine customer? Are they a weighting scale customer? Do they pay their utility bills with us? So we try to use the data that we have. I hope that answers the problem. Yes, credit cards will be less anonymous, but we serve the sector of the economy that doesn't have that, and it seems to be quite a big chunk in Thailand. Here, I want to show that we can identify how many people are in each group that we identified, and so we can pull out the data. Here, I just use Excel for simplicity. I could have used OAC, I could use dashboard, but why not when Excel does a good job at it already? And so you can see that for some groups, there are quite a few, and for some groups, there are less. So we would try to aim for the big groups with a high probability of using the line stickers. So that's pretty much the idea behind it. Okay, and here's the database architecture. Our machine has a SIM card in them. They are being a bit like IoTs. And so they send data to the on-prem server, and then the on-prem server syncs to the ADW using the Golden Gate tool. Okay, and then the Golden Gate tool, the ADW then syncs to ADW on one hand, and the other one with the Oracle machine learning product that I used. Okay, so here I just want to tell you a brief experience about the autonomous database. So now we in the 2 years of using ADW, we were one of the first early customers in the Southeast Asia region. We were using Cloud Gen 1, and then if I have time, I'll speak more on the benefits. I'm pretty sure that people in this conference are familiar with the idea. We use auto scaling. It allows us to minimize the number of OCPU. Data encryption is very important for a banking agent like us. There was a news yesterday that a big hospital in Thailand has a cyber attack gone, and we are an agent, and so having that problem will just put us out from the business. Basically, we're not a hospital. We don't have that that pool for customers. So it's important that we are sure that we save from the cyber attacks faster. And then here I want to show you the difference of having the dashboards running in office. So here you can see people were looking around. They were on their monitors. The screen looks fine. Only 1 or 2 provinces in each region has problem with electricity. And now when there is an outage, maybe in this one would probably be like a network outage throughout the country. You can see that people were having a different emotions at least, and so having this thing come early allows us to respond faster rather than them sifting through the database of 120,000 machines. Okay, and here I show the CPU utilization and how the auto scaling help us to scale up at the time we need it. So normally we run at 3 CPU, but at times we run at 9. And we only pay for the amount we use. So which is good that we are running at 3 for most of the time. Okay, maybe it's worth talking that for Cloud Gen 1, there isn't this function, and we had to put our OCPU at the maximum capacity for the time because we don't want to, have a time when there is not enough CPU to run the reports. Okay, so that's cost saving there. And here I'm talking about the machine learning in the cloud, how this thing integrates perfectly with ADW. I had to say that we have been using data miner without the full integration because ADW didn't support it, but we were able to commission a DBCS, a Cloud Gen 1, and we used database link to link the DBCS to ADW, and so we were able to query data from ADW and then use it in the data miner then. Okay, it helps to add value to my data. The OAC has very powerful graphing techniques, and then it keeps improving all the time. So now the other thing is doing these models, it allows me to provide conclusions to my team, rather than tell them to go log onto the dashboard and analyze it. I did the analyzing with the algorithm, and they were able to take on the results, i.e. the phone numbers, and put it on straight on to the to Facebook audience or to SMS. No thinking required, all by algorithm. And so this way, I sort of do the pseudo marketing job for them with a data-driven approach. Okay, for future plans. So we are trying to map out the customer journey, of course, like one audience pointed up. It's still a black box for us, who our customer is. We would like to know more. And so one way to do it is to provide more service, learn more what they shop with us, and form more of a picture of who our customer is. Now we know which province they're from, how much they top up per month. So we would know something along that line. And so banking agent is an area where we are very enthusiastic in, and we are hoping to partner more with banks now that they're closing their branches. So one day we're hoping to be more than, allowing people to transfer money to us. In fact, we were already paving ways to become an ATM, but with a much lower overheads for the banks and with a larger numbers. So ATMs in Thailand would cost around maybe 20,000 USD each. We cost a lot less, and then we have a huge database already. And so the other thing that I mentioned that I want to talk about is my work at the moment, which is setting up the radio omnimesh solution to help improve Bangkok's electricity infrastructure. And here I just want to talk about the anticipated use case of the radio omnimesh solution. So like I said before, we had analog meters, millions of them around Bangkok, and it's a huge job for people to go around and keep recordings. And it's also very slow. They're going to take a month to go around Bangkok, basically. And having people doing that is expensive. And we found that during COVID time, when there's a lockdown, this isn't possible. And what happens is that, people were recording wrong data, shops were closed, but their electricity consumption stayed the same. A lot of human error went on for the past few months. So with this solution, automated meter reading, the data from the meter will be sent to the server through radio. We use radio because the government is not an internet service provider. I know that in the UK, they were using something like a cellular meter, but that's because it's BT or British Gas doing it. And, apart from the fact that, they have they are very well funded. They also have the convenience of being the service provider themselves. So they pay less for data. But for our government, they are not an internet service provider. So having something that runs for free saves a lot of overheads. And it's very robust. We were proving, in fact, that we are able to connect tens, thousands of meters to our system without fail. Okay, and then we were looking ahead that once we have all this very nice data in place, we will be able to provide our client with more insights into the customer. The government has been giving free electricity during the COVID period. And because I would say they don't have as much insights, they were giving like a 3% reduction, but not to the neediest group, but to everyone in town. And, for me, I got a reduction of around maybe $2 or $3. And I know that, $2 or $3 to me is good, but it's not helping me as much as giving $2 to $3 to the neediest part of the population. So with this solution, if the next crisis ever arises, they are going to be more prepared in terms of giving subsidies. And so we see that this one is something that will be beneficial. It will also allow them to monitor the customer demand more efficiently. And so they can prepare the loads more efficiently. So they can talk to the electricity provider and then tell them when to provide electricity. Okay, there are actually a lot more, but with the limitation of time, this is all I'm going to cover. And here, before I give the microphone back to Carrie and Charlie, this is the next tech cast that you may be interested in. So I hope you had a good time listening to me. I hope that's worthwhile. And thank you for attending my presentation.
Great job. I got at least one question on here for you. Okay, one is asking, because I know you have these 30,000 communicating meters, the OmniMesh radio environment, and then also you have all the top-up machines. Are you doing or planning on doing any kind of predictive maintenance of those things, or predictive inspections, or anything like that, predictive on those machines or the devices?
Yes. I have to say that because we are being a system integrator for the smart metering project, in the end, it's due to the customer to propose the project. So we can recommend it and we can show them the future benefits, but we're not in a position into making decisions because these meters and these servers, they don't belong to us. Like the vending machines, that one is a sister company, but this one doesn't belong to us. So it's we can propose, but in the end, it's up to the customer if they can see I mean, if they have the budgets and if they have if they can see enough benefit from it, I'm not going to say anything, but there may be a good opportunity that they may invest more into data analytics. So that's all I can say.
Excellent, excellent. I don't see any other questions. I'll give it 30 seconds or so here to see if anybody pops any more questions in here. It says no more questions. Sure. So as I kind of talk here for a second, I'm going to see if anything else pops up. Nothing else, not even a Kenny from Kansas showing up with a question here. So, so I'm going to say thank you for that. I love hearing, guys.
Charlie?
I love hearing, yeah.
I apologize. There is one more question that did pop up as you were talking from Shankar. A very logical path of development of analytical systems. Excellent. Oh, he just said thank you. Sorry, I apologize.
You got congratulations here.
Great job, Ta. Yeah, way to go. Good job.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I've seen Ta present at least 2 or 3 times, and I think he just does a great job because he's got, you know, hands-on, knows the whole thing, knows his business. He goes from beginning, middle to end, and it's just something you can learn from. So we really appreciate it. Thank you, Ta. I don't know if you guys know, but it's like midnight, whatever time it's 12 hours ahead of us.
Midnight. Yes, midnight.
It's like midnight. So, there he is. So
I had a very long day. I have to tell you, very long day.
Well, thank you. Our audience and all of us appreciate it quite a bit. I'm going to close by just reminding everybody that there's a couple of talks that are coming up here. Ta has them up on the screen. On September 24th, same time, same place, we're going to have Rich Nemec, Jim Zipernsky, and Nitin all talking about the Converge database, a path to a long and healthy Oracle DBA career and eventual retirement. So I've seen some of that stuff before. Those guys are great. They really have a lot of information, and they're great presenters. So I hope you can join us for that. And then after, we have a special one with Chris Saxon. If you know him, he is like just, you know, the best at SQL kind of stuff. So he's going to be showing pattern matching, something that I think is really a cool thing to then feed into a machine learning algorithm, but I think he's going to talk a little bit about that as well in that talk there. And lastly, if you have a topic or something you want to share, how you do something special or cool, please just submit on the website. There's a link for you to submit your own abstracts, and then we, the TechCast judging selection committee, pull out the best ones and try to put them on the stage like we've done here with Ta. So with that, and the recordings will be out there. We'll put them on YouTube as well. Just come back in, say, 24 to 72 hours, something like that. And with that, I'm going to say, Ta, thank you very much. Carrie, thank you very much. Great session.
Okay. So I hope everyone enjoyed the presentation. And then if any question, please feel free to ask it through Charlie or Carrie, and then or ask me on LinkedIn, and I will respond. So with that, have a great morning, I guess, for most people, and talk to you later. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you. Bye.